morning mga kaibigan! Welcome to In My Toolbox. Of course, your weekly talk show for your personal finance here at PHLV Radio. Mga kaibigan, the goal of this show is to give you financial information that you may be able to use on your day-to-day financial decisions. We'll of course unbox topics that hopefully will be able to aid you and guide you and maybe even add to your financial tools. Mga kaibigan, we will tackle important information mostly not taught in school. But of course, it's much needed to empower you and your family financially. Of course, mga kaibigan, in any idea that will transpire in the show, I would advise you always consult with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, or tax consultants. Ayan naman. Again, my name is Enrico Pobre. I'm your host. I'm what do you call this? A sales marketing trainer. And of course, I'm an economist, an entrepreneur, and a financial professional as well. Mga kaibigan, if you want to get in touch with me, of course, just Google my name, Enrico Pobre. You will not miss it. Or otherwise, just email me at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. Ayan naman mga kaibigan. So, how's your week? I know it's been a while when I did a live episode. Syempre man, meron tayong mga circumstances, but then again, I miss you too, di ba? All right. So we're going to talk about ugly truths about retirement. Naku, ayan na. Ugly truths talaga about retirement. Are you about to retire ba? Well, when we talk about retirement, we always think about, I'm 65, I need to retire. Really? Oh, I'm 66. Really? Di ba? So, for me, it's just a number, or it's just an age. Literally, kasi when you from dealing with unexpected medical cost to supporting your adult children, take note of this one. Some people still support adult children. Americans and even us Filipinos often find ourselves facing expenses that we were not able to anticipate during our golden years. And it's harder to save for retirement today than it was 50 years ago. Of course, you will definitely agree with me on this one. And today as well, nearly half of seniors plan to work part-time after they retire. Kayo ba mga kaibigan, are you guys on the retirement age but you're still working? Of course, we have all different reasons why we need to work after retirement. But majority, I think, is because, of course, it's due to finance. So if you're not sure how long you'll need to work, or what you say, or what to expect when you retire, well, these are some ugly truths that I'm going to tell you. So maybe number one, one of the things that I can tell you about ugly truths about retirement, some of your investment during those golden years, those investment successes will actually be left to chance. Ganun lang yan. It's just bahala na si Batman, right? So, what happens in the market during 10 years before and after the retirement or your retirement date can play a very significant role in how you are going to be funding well your portfolio. So it's just, once you're in a retirement age, it's very difficult to replace whatever you will be losing at a time. Because at that time, a lot of what constraints or the loss of earned income during the time when you retire. And of course, to protect your retirement, your retirement savings during those times is there's a lot of risk involved on that. So I think the ugly truth on retirement is that whatever is left is actually will be left to chance. Another maybe is, well, yeah, I still have money anyway, and I can still invest in a very conservative way. That's also good. But of course, you and I know high potential investments like stocks and what have you could end up making a mistake in retirement if you put it there. Yeah, it's easy to say, oh, I'm actually investing conservatively. But you and I know conservatively to how would you compare it to what? And especially savings is one, and outspending the savings is another one. That depends on your lifestyle too. So retirees should be looking to invest in total return type of a strategy that focus on maybe like a stock appreciation, or maybe what you call a dividend producing stocks. And of course, you would want to make sure that you also look for a good quality bonds that maybe will not have a long maturities, because at the time you'll be retired already. So these things that you might want to consider. Another thing, ugly truth about retirement, you might not be saving enough, because according to statistics, mga kaibigan, about 64% of Americans have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. Are you one of them? So this is just probably you can Google this to, Go Banking's rate survey. You can actually find those details there. Even if you plan to spend your golden years living modestly, that dollar amount won't come close to cutting it. So it's just the way it is, it's just what statistics is telling us. So maybe investors should, take advantage now, about 401k, 403b, IRA accounts, and maybe as well maximize contribution when you can, whenever possible, So those are some things that, you might want to look at. And of course, you want to maybe find some funds that limit your expenses, and you actually that allows you to stick to a reasonable spending plan. So maybe that's one that that those are some things that you can do. But another ugly truth about retirement, whether you're young or not, more than half of millennials today have $0 saved in the bank for retirement. So if you're a millennial listening to me right now, maybe the question is, are you that? Have you saved dollars already for your retirement today? Because according to survey, it's $0 today. So that's, that's really hard. Because the younger you are, take note of this one, the younger you are, the greater your potential to grow your nest egg through the power of compounding interest. We'll be talking about this one maybe in the next episodes about what compounding interest is, or what rule of 72 is. But just for right now, you have to take advantage while you're young and start saving. Maybe about $200 a month, and at age 25 right now. If you start saving at age, $200 every month at age 25 today, you could have saved $621,000 by age 65. Well, this is an assumption that there's an 8% rate of return. Just to give you a ballpark, figure there. So the other one is when you are older. Sadly, guys, baby boomers today, or the group, they're what you call the group closest to retirement age, are also not doing much better. According to the survey again, 30.7% of people over 55 years old have retirement savings, below $50,000. Can you imagine that? So how far can it? How far can you go with that amount of money when you retire? And definitely it is considered insufficient, especially approaching those golden years. So late savers, the point I'm trying to make out here is late savers might have to play catch up, with their retirement contribution if you're that. So you want to make sure that you catch up, because it's something that you need to do to have a secured and dependable retirement, or otherwise you have to delay your retirement. That's the thing. So the other ugly truth in retirement too is you may probably live longer than most, and of course, living longer as well could actually cost you more. The average life expectancy in the U.S. today is about 78.6 years. Let's just say 79 years old. And this is according to the CDCC. And the ugly truth about retirement is that living longer, or the longer we live, the more that we have to shell out to fund the extended years after those golden years. See, yeah, we have longer lifespan. How are you going to finance those? Well, you have a long life, you're not able to fund it. Those are two different things, right? So that's exactly what it means, that when you live longer, it could actually cost you more. So with Americans living longer than ever, it's no surprise that the biggest concern is what? Outliving their income. Have you actually computed that, guys, today? How much income you would need maybe when you retire. Let's just say 65 years old. So if you're earning like $5,000 today to live off, and then after 65, definitely if you don't have that $5,000, salary, that will evidently tell you that, it's not sufficient. So you have to know your number after retirement. How much do you need, to live off during retirement times, So the other thing too that is ugly truth about retirement is you could lose out by mistiming your Social Security benefits. So when do you plan to retire? 62, 65, 66, 67, 70 years old. So when do you start taking Social Security payments? Before your full retirement age, or, you'll permanently decrease your monthly payments or what have you? Do you have to wait until 70 years old and you'll get more money with each check? Some people decide to retire at 62, even it's less than what they actually expect to have. So these are the things that you would want to sit down with your financial advisor to have a clear cut picture of what it is to retire at 62 or to retire at 70. Well, that doesn't mean that one strategy is always going to be the best. It's exactly what is suitable to your lifestyle when you actually retire. Especially when you factor in, it's not just yourself. You need to factor in your spouse, or whoever is going to be, if there's still somebody's going to be depending on you at a time. Or you can also factor in some survival benefits, etc. So fortunately, guys, today there are several Social Security optimizers that can help you figure out the best time to start taking Social Security benefits. So that's the reason why, guys, you have to sit down with your financial advisor or go to a Quicken Social Security optimizer, etc. So I think this is a good time for you to seek some professional advice to have a very good decision when you retire. Okay. So the other ugly truth maybe is you might regret skipping your Roth contribution when I should have put some Roth contribution as well during my golden years. Of course, guys, the younger you are, I mentioned that a while ago, is the more that you can benefit from Roth accounts. Sit down, you probably can visit one of those, your banking, personal bankers, sit down with them, ask them about these Roth accounts because they're funded with after-tax dollars. I don't know if you guys know that. Roth accounts are funded after-tax dollars, which will accumulate investment earning, tax-free. Of course, this is tax-free for the life of the investment. So that's something that you would want to look at as an option. This Roth investments or Roth account investments. And again, the regret there is the skipping Roth contribution, because this might be an aha moment for you too. So this is this will actually gives you a great option especially if you expect a higher rate of return in retirement, so that might be a good option for you. Okay. Another thing that you may be looking at about ugly truth is you'll have numerous financial issues to consider when you retire. So we all have different financial stories. We have different circumstances in life. Those nearing retirement and those that have just begun retirement could face the challenge of, one, planning cash flows for their new lifestyle. Mostly people, most of the people that retire actually lessens their lifestyle or lowers their lifestyle. That's another thing. Is that something that you're prepared of getting into when you start retiring? Oh my God, yeah, my income is not there. I have to lower or my lifestyle already. So those are the things that can actually happen, and mostly it happens to everyone who retires. Look at those income before you tap into an IRA or your brokerage accounts, and see. I think you might want to look at first after retirement. What's your 5-year cash flow plan if you have those? You might want to have those. You want to look at what's going to happen for me when I retire in the next 5 years, or after my retirement. And you should also consider the tax repercussions on this, especially on distribution on your pension, or when you take money out of an annuity or a social security or your retirement savings. Those are the things that you would want to consider as well. There's a lot of financial issues. Retirement is one. Another financial, those financial issues is another. Okay, so the other things too that could probably tell you, oh my God, this is one of those things, the ugly truth about retirement. You'll probably need to supplement your Medicare. That's another thing. It's funny that when I was studying, one of my colleagues, they call it Mediscare, and we were laughing about it. But kidding aside, you might want to look at the probability of adding more or supplementing more to your Medicare, because many procedures, medical procedures, are not covered by Medicare. Just want to make sure that you guys know that. Which actually, some of the things that could include to not being part of Medicare is your dental, your hearing, and your vision. Your long-term care is not even part of it, meaning long-term care in an option of going to an assisted living or a nursing facility, So many retirees also face unexpected high deductible and co-pays. That's the reason why you might want to look at engaging yourself to getting a supplement to Medicare when the time comes. But right now, if you're not there yet, you might want to study those just to make sure. Or if you have parents that's about to retire, you might want to talk to them about it. If you are that person retiring, have you actually done your due diligence in finding out more about supplementing your Medicare? The best solution is to make sure to include unexpected medical costs in your budget as you build your retirement savings. So because before you retired, of course, you don't have those Medicare things to think about at the time, But right now, when you start retiring, oh my God, everything is just gonna come out there. Oh, I didn't know that I will need this. So there's a lot of things that's gonna be opening up in front of you, just adding to the cost of just this one. The healthcare alone is going to be huge, because when you retire, your healthcare will cost more than you expect. It's exactly true, guys. That's the ugly truth about it. Your healthcare will cost more than you expect. Let's just say the average couple retiring in a few years back at the age of 65 is they will need to spend $285,000 on medical costs in retirement. So that's a lot of money. You might not even think about it. Can you imagine if you actually build your nest egg in the last 40 years, and all of this nest eggs will just go to your health cost? That's another story, guys, right? So a health savings account, or HSA, you've heard of this one before, could be a huge help when it comes to preparing for those healthcare costs in retirement. So HSA could be a good option for you guys to look at. So make sure that if you don't know HSA, guys, sit down with a financial professional, health professional, and they could discuss with you, HSA contributions, because especially HSA contributions that are made tax free, and of course when it actually is being paired with high deductible healthcare plans, etc. The account can build a healthy nest eggs that can save you from having to pull from your 401k for those unforeseen healthcare costs. This is the reason why I'm telling you this right now, so you can actually avoid those healthcare additional or unseen or unforeseen healthcare costs when the time comes. Most people will need long-term care. This is actually truth, and an ugly truth in retirement. People thought that Medicare covers long-term care. Again, we already know that it's not being covered by long-term care. It just means that long-term care, if you can no longer take care of yourself, who's going to be taking care of you? So around 70% of people over age 65 will definitely need long-term care. So it's 7 out of 10 people over age 65 will need long-term care at some point in their lives. So if you're one of those 7, you might want to think of, what am I going to do right now, right? If you're not one of those 7, still, there's another question after that. But that 70% chance you and me will going to have, I think that will all, it's evident enough for us to prepare ourselves for long-term care. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the cost of long-term care will vary by state, but 3 years can easily set you back $300,000. Can you imagine that? The cost of someone to take care of you, $300,000. That's a lot of money. So the question here, guys, if you are no longer able to take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? Now, if you got that covered, the second question is, how are you going to pay that person's going to take care of you? That's another question. Now you have to find out how you're going to be paying that person. So there's more to talk about long-term care. I'm going to discuss that, in the future, of how long-term cares are being triggered, or what are the 6 activities of daily livings are. Of course, to protect against this likely expense, now it's likely to happen. Again, it's 70%, right? You might want to purchase some long-term care insurance today. It's just actually now there's a lot out there that you can sit down with and discuss about long-term cares. So I think this is very important. It's not going to happen, but 70% of a chance that we will all need this long-term care. Another ugly truth about retirement: your overall health will affect your retirement costs. So we've talked about long-term care. Getting sick is going to take care of you. Regular physical exercise and activity can help you manage and prevent chronic diseases, which is what? Chronic diseases are very expensive to treat. So sample exercises maybe, and diet information for retirees and people getting close to retirement. You can actually see this anywhere today. All you have to do is to make sure that you engage yourself to those, because again, 70% of the time, people over 65 will actually get to that position. Another ugly truth, guys, in retirement: inflation can eat away your nest egg. I hope you guys understand inflation. Let's just say inflation rate is 6%, okay? Your $1,000 today, 1 year from today, is the same $1,000 but could not buy the same amount. The value of that $1,000, it can only buy $940 worth. I hope you got that, right? So that's the effect of 6% inflation. Again, your $1,000 today could not buy the same amount of $1,000 a year from now because of what? Inflation. So because $1,000 from a year from now could only buy $940. That's what it means by inflation. So you want to make sure, guys, that if you're planning for retirement, you include inflation there, because $300,000 today could not buy the same $300,000 a year from now. That's what it means. So if you have $300,000 today, and then your retirement plan, your retirement age is 5 years from now, definitely that $300,000 that you planned today could not buy exactly what the $300,000 will be that you will try to buy or purchase or live off 5 years from today. So you want to make sure whatever platform that your money is in today, it has an inflation protection, or it has the capacity to combat inflation. So it has to make sure that you have the capacity to outpace inflation. That's what it means. So the question today, guys, is whatever or wherever your money is today, does it have the capacity to fight inflation? So again, guys, your nest egg, at least some of you have those money in place, but I think what matters right now is, are those money has the capacity to outpace inflation? The other ugly truth in retirement is you don't really know how much you're going to be spending when the time comes. Well, mostly people are not that, but some people knows exactly how they'll be spending their money, and they just live off those money. But majority, regrettably, don't have it. So you should have a solid understanding of how much money that you're going to spend, and then, of course, you have to consider other people too, when you retire, especially your dependents, right? And then don't worry, guys. What the things that I'm telling you right now, it just doesn't only mean that that's you. A lot of people are in the same situation. That's why I want to talk about this, because over half of the people that I talk to, who are actually going to or gearing up to retirement, they don't really have a good understanding of how much they'll be spending when the time comes. That's actually the truth. And that's the ugly truth there. And if they're so used on spending $5,000 a month, wherever it goes, and then now suddenly after retirement, their income is only $3,000, that's a huge disparity now on managing your finances. So retirees need to know a very important information on how they're going to be able to use their investment, or how they're going to be filling the gap between what's going out and what's coming in, especially, for coming from pension or security, social security, etc. So there's a huge difference, guys. If you are anticipating to need $20,000 annually from your investment to fill the gap of whatever you need, then needing $50,000. So there's a huge difference there, and you might want to check it as early as yesterday. All right. Another ugly truth here, guys, too, is, well, especially Filipinos, mga kaibigan, sometimes we have this heart of helping our children. There's nothing wrong with that, but definitely your child will actually or can actually borrow money for maybe for college, or for down payment of a house. But look at this, guys. The ugly truth, you can't borrow for retirement. That's just the way it is. Parents like you and me, we find ourselves stuck between helping our children pay for college, or wanting to save for retirement. That's actually normal. And I've seen this day in, day out. Instead of putting this $3,000 to my saving, I got a bonus right now. Instead of putting this $3,000 to my savings, my daughter, my son actually needs, to pay for the college. That's just the way it is, So, however, guys, putting a lot of money into college fund isn't going to help if your retirement saving is actually suffering. That's the truth. That's just the way it is. But again, it's all about choices, and it's just about, your plan. I'm not questioning your capacity to decide, but it's just something that is actually happening today. And it's just part of a lot of us, right? So another ugly truth in retirement is your employer might not help you prepare. So do you have an employer that actually supports you on your retirement? Because not all employers could offer retirement plans such as 401k or whatever similar plan that is for 401k. So While one 401k is a good plan. It's a great retirement tool, and it's also available. But does your employer give it to you anyway? There are other options out there, but this is just to open up that idea that not all employers offer some retirement plan, and it's just the way it is, guys, right? So now, what you would want to look at is if your employer doesn't support it. Again, I mentioned about Roth IRA. We've talked about life insurance, etc. You might want to initiate it by yourself. So again, I've talked about Roth IRA a while ago. I told you guys to go to your bank, ask some questions about Roth IRA, because this can actually save, you can actually use this Roth IRA for emergency funds or retirement. This money that you put in as a contribution in a Roth IRA, when you take it out in the future, that's tax-free. I'll take it anytime, because the money that you put into the Roth IRA is a tax-free money. I mean, it's an after-tax money. And then you allow it to grow and we take it out, it's tax-free. I'll take it anytime. So, talk to your personal banker about Roth IRAs, and they can give you more information about this one, So another ugly truth in retirement, you could overspend on housing. Yeah. Because a survey says, American Financing, this is a group of people who surveyed 44% of American ages 60 to 70, this is according to them, that, have mortgages, when they retire, are just having overspending in their houses. Because some retirees, even upsize their homes. Can you imagine that? Can you believe that, right? So some of them, that's about 44%. How about you guys? Where are you at the moment if you're retiring? Are you spending so much in your house at the moment after you retire? Again, there's nothing wrong there, but then again, you have to consider your finances in the future. So you might have to move as well, when you actually retire. That's the ugly truth there. Oh, I want to move. I have some clients that moves to wherever their grandkids are. So they just choose to move. It's a different lifestyle. It's a different environment. It's a lot of different things, right? So depending on where you live, you might consider to move to a place where maybe retirement goes farther. That's another thing. Or you can go to the Philippines. Oh, because why? My $1,000 can go far in the Philippines. So something like that, And this for many people is especially for Filipinos, those are options at the back of their mind when the retirement comes. It's actually some move that can cut cost substantially. If you live in the Philippines, having the same amount of money here, but not everybody has the same plan anyway. But again, it's an opportunity for some to relocate and to maximize their retirement money. And one of the things that they consider is, how much will my money buy when I move to a certain place? And what's the climate there, and a lot of things. Again, I mentioned about moving where the grandkids are, etc. So those are some of the things that could actually give you a lot of thoughts when you retire. And then another ugly truth in retirement, because of the lifestyle that you have, is what? You might have to work part-time. Some older people recognizes the physical and mental health benefits that come with keeping an active mind. So they say, okay, I'm 70 years old. I still need to work because I just want to be physically active. I just want to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to die early. Well, it's actually a great thing as well. Meaning that they keep themselves active and working. And they keep their physical and mental health, up there. So, but of course, the other reason is just simply others cannot just simply retire. So because of what? Again, finances. They were not able to position themselves correctly to be able to retire beautifully, if I may use that word. And your adult children could derail your retirement plans as well. Again, as I've mentioned a while ago, especially for Filipinos, we love to help our children. We call them baby even though they're already 60 years old, right? So it's just the way it is. That's just cultural part of us. So cutting off the kids might be a necessary step if you're looking to retire. In fact, guys, 79% of parents, okay, listen to this, 79% of parents are still continuing to support their children financially. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But then again, you have to think about retirement too, right? So according to surveys. So for most Americans, middle age is also the prime income earning. I call this the prime income earning, but I call this is your athletic prime earning. This is the time that, during the middle age, this is the time that you have all the energy to make money, right? And ideally, savers during the time should have the most disposable income for at the time, and then this can actually help their build their retirement plan at the time. But then again, financially funding a loved one is another story, because during those years, if you don't really plan to put aside money for your retirement, it could have a serious impact on your saving plan. That's just the way it is, guys. So it's just, at the end of the day, is how much money you can earn. If you have so much, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But if you have little or just enough, right? I think juggling it to help our adult children and putting into a retirement plan are two different stories, And again, if you're not, if your family has a, longer lifespan, your aging parents, not your kids right now, your aging parents could also affect your plans, because most adult children are unwilling to withhold support from a parent, So, but then again, if, again, we're always like that, guys. I always put it in a cultural aspect. It's a family in the totality. It doesn't matter if I help my parents because they're my parents. So if someone thinks it's likely that they will care for a parent, I think it's more likely anyway. They should start thinking on a contingency plan. So that's the only thing. If you really plan to support your aging parents, you want to make sure that you have your contingency plan. So again, this just tells you that you're being sandwiched between both generations. So your kids and your aging parents, you both want to help them. It's family. But then again, every decision that you will be making has an effect on your retirement plan. So especially again, if we have limited funds, right? So that's exactly what I was trying to tell you, because 38% of older adults have had their adult children live with them. Again, there's nothing wrong. I've been mentioning that since a while ago. But it's a matter of choice, guys. And 16% of them had their parents live with them as well. So there are families out there that actually being sandwiched between both generations. And that's the ugly truth about retirement. You just have to to weigh or get a good decision. So again, you'll have to talk to your kids about end-of-life care decisions. This is the ugly truth in retirement. Oh, I'm not going to die yet. No, it's not about the dying. It's about preparation, because no one wants to think about our own mortality. No one wants to do that or think about it or talk about it. But if we actually give this information available, from yourself and your kids or whoever, I think we have a better understanding of where this fund's going to come from, how we're going to be using it, especially on the topic of end-of-life care decisions. So individuals should consider when they want to use life-prolonging measures, where they want to receive care and what they want to happen if they're physically unable to care for themselves, or they're not in the right mind already, they're incapacitated already. So who's going to be taking care of them? At least the children knows how to attend to it already. Again, guys, there's a lot really of ugly truth about retirement. It's just the way that it's all about preparation anyway. It can even go as wealth transfer plans. You can talk about the ugly truth of retirement when you need to address your burial plan. There's really a lot to talk about when the time comes that you need to retire. But again, it's a matter of preparation, solidifying your plan as early as yesterday. Again, mga kaibigan, I think I gave you some great topics or some great insights about retirement. So hanggang dito na naman po tayo, another episode ng In My Toolbox. So we just talked about the ugly truth of retirement. Again, my name is Enrico Pobre. Hanggang sa susunod mga kaibigan, magandang gabi!